Hey, welcome to the debut episode of Questions Nobody Can Answer, our new podcast. Woo! Where every episode we ask a question that only you can answer for yourself. My name is Nathaniel Welch.
I'm Billy Welch.
And today, we're wondering, what did you think of the new Superman movie?
Yes.
Now,
I love this.
I do have a video essay on this that will come out eventually.
Okay.
And I also had,
All right.
We've talked about Superman a lot on on an episode of Conversations on a Broken Couch, but we didn't really dive into the movie a ton. We talked a lot just about the DCU and those kind of things. So I know I've already talked about this before, but we haven't heard your thoughts. But if you're wondering, wait, there's a new Superman movie? That means you haven't seen it. So go watch it because we will maybe...
Yeah, we're going to talk about some stuff.
Everything.
So if you haven't seen it, you probably want to pause and come back later.
Later.
Go watch it and then come back. So
TLDR, spoilers.
Yes.
Spoilers.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. What did you think?
I loved it. Mm-hmm. I absolutely loved it. Of course, I'm like a massive Superman fan.
He's one of your favorites.
I grew up with Superman, from
two?
Old school. You got to go all the way. No, he's probably number one.
He's number one.
I like,
him and Captain
America, and then Batman, obviously, and Spider-Man and some of those other guys. Yeah. But and the Winter Soldier, he's pretty cool. But no, I absolutely loved it. But I grew up watching Christopher Reeve and those old school versions, and obviously comics, and so for me to have this is great. Yeah. I will say I did enjoy Henry Cavill. I think he did a great job in his version of Superman. I just wasn't a huge fan of the version.
Yeah.
But his performance was amazing.
A great actor.
He's an exceptional actor. Yeah. And I think he played the part really well. I think he played the script that was given him well, and he was a good Superman. Mm-hmm. And then there's the other guy.
I always Brandon Routh.
Yeah,
Ralph?
Brandon Routh.
I never know how to say his last name.
And he was good. He did Superman Returns. He was good. I like that. Mm-hmm. So, but hands down, this is the best Superman movie for me.
For you?
I mean, I have to go back to Superman 1. Obviously, but because this is more of a
your other. If there was one to compete with this, it
would
be that.
Would be that one, or potentially the what is it? The DC animated version.
Oh,
that's a really good version of Superman. It just feels more like the comic books to me, and I think they did a great job. Yeah, portraying that. Yeah, and so man, I loved it, hands down. Yeah. It was amazing, and I'm a huge Superman fan.
It was really good.
Awesome.
I like what you just mentioned about comics. I'm not a stickler for comic accuracy. I honestly could care less in a lot of cases. Not that I don't like it, but I guess something I really like about comic book characters. And now we're talking about more than just comic books, because they can be in games, they can be in movies, they can be in shows, or just in other comic runs, is that we do get multiple iterations, interpretations of different characters. We tell different stories with them because, well, this thing changed in their backstory, or what if their villains are different? We do have different versions of characters, and I like that because... you don't want one comic line to just go on forever.
Well, it makes it difficult,
and the hero's not
even keep people's
attention anymore, and to stay interesting. So
for me, it's not the change of the character; it was the change of the world. Mm-hmm. It just felt the previous ones with Henry Cavill, they just felt darker. Yeah. And I like the bright colors. Mm-hmm. I think there's something about staying with that. Now, I think there's room for everything. I think there's room for both. Mm-hmm. I think they're both good movies. Of course, we're talking about superheroes. Yeah. And, we like superheroes. We do like superheroes. Like good superhero movies. Really like superheroes. I have no problem with any of the series. No, I have any of the series that have come out. I like this one better.
You just like what you
and
like.
I think it has to, because it goes back to just being young and just that it has that comic book feel to it.
That's kind of what I was.
There's nostalgia there for me.
Getting to a little bit.
It's not as edgy as you could say the
Snyderverse was or something.
Yeah, the Snyderverse. So, but however, they're both good movies. But I love this one.
Yeah,
I loved it, and I like what they're doing with bringing. Supergirl in, and of course, we had other people. We had the Green Lantern, and we just had other great characters.
The dog, everyone
loved
the dog.
Everyone loved the dog. So
yeah.
I just thought it was a good movie. It was very well rounded. And hey, I know we talk about spoilers, but they've already announced the title for the next one. That's pretty awesome. Came out today.
They just announced that in 2 years.
Yes.
On July 9th, Superman 2 comes out.
Yep, so, Superman, Man of Tomorrow. Yes,
great
will be
name.
the sequel.
Yeah.
Super excited.
Yeah.
I'm so excited about the entire DCU.
Which
it's going to be good.
If I'm correct, I don't know if the new Supergirl movie has a name, but Scott was saying this version of Supergirl is based off of a comic run she had called Woman of Tomorrow. So
I think the Supergirl
I'm assuming Superman
Look Out.
is going to be the same way.
The other one calling
it that.
I think.
Look Out.
I think.
Supergirl. Oh, yeah, this is Look. Superman was Look Up.
Look Up.
This is Look Out.
Yeah,
That's funny.
Yeah. So I think I can't remember. I have to go back and look, but because they released that. But I think that's going to be a good movie, and I'm just excited. I'm just excited
for both of them.
The potential.
I'm glad we're going to get another Superman movie though, because I really feel like I don't want them to go too fast.
Yeah.
I want it to be.
Take their
time. A few years before, like a few years, meaning maybe
we're
a lot more
looking
than
at
a
few. We're looking at a year, 9 months before
we get
the
like
next
a
one
Justice
comes
League movie. Like I want that to be pretty far off. Establish all your characters
we'll
first.
See.
So
we'll see what they do.
I'm really excited that we're getting another. That we're gonna get another Superman movie before they make a Justice League or whatever.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing about it, just the DCU, is going to be how do they, because obviously we have these major questions. There's the key characters,
Batman,
and how do they
Superman,
deal with the key
Wonder
characters? Woman. And I want to see. I think the Batman equation is going to be huge.
I think that's going to be the most important.
It is the most important.
How do they do Batman?
Because we've already seen the idea of what Superman is going to look like, and when Batman: Brave and the Bold comes out,
which we know some about that. It's going to be Batman on his last Robin.
Yeah,
when
but
Robin
how
is
they
his
make
son
that character,
but how they connect him to Superman, and how
it's going to be huge in the success of the
just
DCU.
Even how the movie is. Like,
I mean, I think it could tank it if they don't do it right. Because they have to do that right.
Batman sells.
Batman does,
and people got to like Batman. So
and Batman is probably one of the greatest superheroes of all time. I mean, if you just look at popularity,
he's my favorite. He fights with Spider-Man for my favorite.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do. But I'm super excited about how they break it apart. And let's talk villains for a minute.
Oh,
what did you think of the villains?
Of Lex.
Yes.
Okay, so I guess I can kind of loop this in a little bit. My point with bringing up not really caring for comic book accuracy too much earlier is that this movie is one of the greatest examples of what I think I felt like I was watching a comic book.
Yeah,
it's one of the greatest examples of that.
I think that's what was it was a success.
Yeah,
that's what people wanted.
Because as a film, I did really like it. I think it's maybe like I don't think there's anything you could add to it, or I really don't think there's anything you could add to it. I think you would be taking away from the movie as a whole at this point. But if I was going to make a Superman movie, like stylistically, there are things that I would have wanted to be different. But it would not be a comic book movie like this was. Yeah. It would be 3 hours, maybe longer, and have a lot more other stuff. But this movie stands alone really, really, really strong, and it's really, really good. And the characterization of all the characters were really good. I mean, it's like you took Superman out of the pages. It's like you got Lois and Jimmy and Guy Gardner. He was great.
Yeah, he did a good job.
Lex.
Yeah, Lex was awesome.
Was a great
and
film.
it looks like he's back in the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Just with the photo that was posted.
Or whatever.
Yeah, so
he was great.
That's the more comic book with the armor. That's the more comic book Lex that we
Which
know
we haven't
of,
seen yet, really.
And we haven't seen that in the movies. We've just seen the other side of, like, Kevin Spacey played Lex Luthor in the Superman Returns, and he did a great job. of course, Gene Hackman. You got to go back to. I mean, Gene Hackman's awesome. He was an awesome Lex Luthor. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But I thought that this guy, and I don't remember the guy's name. I can't remember his name. But he was amazing. He did a
giving him praise.
He did a great job.
And he was
awesome.
He did awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it was so good.
Especially as like when some of this is writing too, but he served as a great, just a really good counterpart, really good opposite to Superman. I mean, where Superman's humble, Lex is prideful.
Yeah.
Where Superman's patient, Lex is what's the opposite of patient? Impatient. But then there are times where the opposite's true, where Lex is patient and Superman isn't. Right. So, but they've just got
they played on those
really
things
interesting
really well.
Dynamic. With not that we haven't seen Superman and Lex before, just with these two actors and the way it was written and just everything. It's really, I'm really excited to see more of these two. So I'm glad Lex is going to probably be the villain in the next movie.
Yeah. So I think for me, one of the things that stood out the most, I mean, there was so much that happened. You had the Fortress of Solitude. You had Pa Kent.
Oh, that was great.
He was good. He did a really good job. But that was different. It was different than what I thought it would be. And you got to also understand that I grew up with Lois and Clark. So I got to go back to Dean Cain. I love Dean Cain. I think he was a good Superman. I mean, those were times when we were teenagers that. I mean, that was our TV, guys. I mean, that's what it is. We had the A-Team and we had MacGyver and we had these types of shows. Lois and Clark was one of those shows that was on primetime television. So, I go back to some of that. But when you start, and then after that, we saw later, which was after me. I didn't really pay much attention to Smallville and things like that.
Yeah, 10
but
seasons.
You got to go back to, if you're looking at just even these TV, TV characters of Superman, they're a little different, but the portrayal of Pa Kent in this one was, it was masterful. It was so good.
That's my favorite. My favorite
and he's
part
still,
of the movie was
usually in Superman he dies. Pa dies.
Oh yeah, they've done that
and
before.
They didn't do that in this one, so they've left that open.
I'm really glad they didn't.
They've left that part of it open.
But I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's around. But that's just.
It's like it's the early years of Superman. Yeah, there's development that's occurring in Superman, the character.
Even though he's been Superman for 3 years.
They didn't just cut to the chase.
Yeah.
They allowed some development even with him as Clark. And so and then the Fortress of Solitude, that was just really cool.
With the robots.
The robots, that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I'm excited to see how it comes out.
What I'm curious, what is, because as a film, I think it's really solid, and the cinematography was good. The CGI wasn't bad or anything like that.
Yeah.
The pacing was good.
Yeah. The only complaint that I have seen on some of there's been a few out there, but the one that stands out the most is the flying scenes. When he's flying and because it's almost like a lot of the flying scenes have been duplicated with how the heroes fly. I mean, you see it with Iron Man. You see it with. You saw it with Henry Cavill. I mean, you see how their posture, the angle of the lens and the camera. It was like that was a debate. That was a big debate online.
People were talking about that.
Yeah, they were talking about that.
I mean, it was similar or not
similar?
Okay.
It just wasn't cool.
Because I didn't really feel that.
But I didn't feel like it was bad. I thought it was good.
The movie's camera movement was so interesting.
It was more of that. It was more angle and movement.
It was so
and posture.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of a good word. I guess it was very. I can't think of a good word, but it was.
That's okay.
It wasn't just. I guess it was kind of shaky, but not in a bad shaky cam way, but that it moved a lot and you. But
I will say this. If you are,
I just loved all of it
because I ride a motorcycle, right?
Okay.
I will say this: when you're riding a motorcycle and you have wind hitting you, it's shaky. Okay, it is. Mm-hmm. Things don't line up perfectly. You know, as far as it's not like you're like perfectly still. Now, if you're behind a windshield, the wind buffets all that and everything is smooth. But when there is no windshield, there is a little bit of small movement that can happen. It can happen with your glasses, it can happen with your goggles, whatever you have on, and so it can make it hard. So I thought they duplicated that well.
My point
with
is that
him with that angle, because we got to see a little bit of that when he was flying.
I don't mean like Batman Begins shaky cam where you literally can't tell what's going on in the action the entire like that movie. Annoying. You're like, wow, this is a great movie, and you get to the action. It's like I'm just gonna enjoy the music because I can't see anything that's going on. But it was like kinetic. It was like electric. I'm trying to think of good words, but I'm just finding stuff ending in C. It felt like you were in the fights with him. There was constant movement. It never settled down. It was almost like a rubber band. Like you would go from stuff slowing down to boom, big change, and it had a lot of energy. I really liked the camera work, and but the question I wanted to ask is, like, as a film it's solid, but what is important to you in a superhero story, and did this deliver?
I think for me, one of the most important things is they honor the heart of the character.
Okay.
They don't change the perception of the character. Superman has always been about truth, justice, and the American way. Yeah. I mean, that's been his thing. Yeah. He always stands for that. And even in his moments where he went, like, because there was a couple of dark moments in the Christopher Reeve films. I think you got to go back to like Superman 3 and some of the later ones that didn't have great hits, didn't have great reviews. Mm-hmm. But even in those moments, he was dealing with, he was dealing with grief, and he was dealing with anger, and he was dealing with these emotions in a different way. And there's a couple of times what you see with superheroes, they completely change when they're under the influence of something. So a great example would be in Spider-Man when he has the black suit.
Yeah, the heart of the character completely changes.
The heart of the character. Yeah. I have a hard time when they with superhero movies, when they change the heart of the character and they take it away from what it was in comics.
Okay.
I want them to stay true to the heart of the character. I felt like they did that really well with Captain America.
Has to be the same. But you want like the core values of the character to stay
and to not be altered. And I want to see how I like to see how the directors and the people that write the story and the actors interpret those and bring them about on screen. I think that's what makes it fun. I feel like we had a great version of Captain America. Mm-hmm. I feel like they did a great version of Iron Man, and even Spider-Man. They kept
good ones.
Yes, they kept to the heart of the character, and they've done that with Batman. Mm-hmm. Batman had a lot of stuff that he went through, and you see how the franchise has changed over the years.
Especially Batman, we've got such a wide range.
They've really grown that. But in comics, they grew it. Mm-hmm. If they do something that's completely out of the ordinary that the character would not do, that makes it hard to swallow for me. Yeah. Iron Man was always cocky. I mean, he was always cocky, but he's cocky in the animated series. He's cocky in the even the cartoons where he's with Spider-Man. In the Spider-Man series, they stayed true to it, and I think that's important. Yeah. Even with the villains, they did that with Lex Luthor. Yeah, they stayed true to that.
Core Lex.
Now, for me, what's interesting that I really loved, I could say the one thing that really threw me for a loop, which I think added a lot of flair, and was because I didn't know a whole lot about him, was Mr. Terrific.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of history on Mr. Terrific.
He was really cool.
So adding Mr. Terrific to the movie,
and for me, it was like,
who is this guy? I'm learning about him, really learning about him for the first time. I mean, I heard his name, obviously, but I didn't read a lot of comics about him. So he was more of a mystery to me, and that mystery, I think, was really good, and it pushed the film forward. Yeah. We didn't have crypto in the 70s. Okay, he wasn't written in yet, but that was a mystery too, and that was a good feeling to how they wrote that. So I mean, we know about Hot Girl from Justice League, and of course there's others that haven't showed up yet. But
Guy Gardner,
Mr. Terrific was like a brand new thing for me.
Yeah,
they stayed true to the characters. That's a big deal for me. I don't know.
That's definitely pretty important to me too. Like, I guess I think of it like guys like Batman and Spider-Man, they don't kill.
Yeah.
And so if you have a story where they do, I'm pretty immediately
it makes it hard.
Checked out.
But now you see Batman, but you see like the Michael Keaton version of Batman. Mm-hmm. You know, he takes out Joker. That's a debate. That's a debate on how to handle all that. Mm-hmm. You know, did he just not save him? You know, what happened?
Batman Begins thing.
Is that the deal? Did he just not save him? Because I love Michael Keaton, and that's probably my favorite Batman of all time. I mean, I love
those movies. Yeah.
I love those movies, and I love that version of Batman, and I love the Val Kilmer.
Mm-hmm. Which that was interesting because with Val in the third one, his Batman is
it's the same.
Stopped killing.
Yeah.
And he's kind of having to reconcile with the fact that
but it's a continuation of the character. But it's the same
guy. Yeah.
It's the same guy. Same universe.
Yeah. I don't want to get too far removed from Superman.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
Okay, back to Superman. We could just talk about Batman forever.
Yeah.
I don't mean the movie Batman forever. I just mean Batman in general. Okay.
Yeah.
So I do care about the core of the character, but of staying true to the core of characters and that kind of thing. Like, obviously, when you keep them at their core, even if there are other things that are different, but if they're the same at their core, then when you are putting them into different stories, it's interesting because it's how is the actor going to interpret it? How is the how will Superman react in this story versus how he reacted in this story? But one thing that's really important to me with superhero movies is the most important thing probably is that they inspire you.
Yeah, that's good.
I think this movie
and you want your heroes to
very
inspire
inspirational. You. Yeah, I want the heroes to be inspirational. And so, talking about some of the best moments of the movie for me were the most human ones, where he was like when he had a good one-on-one with his dad, and goes off and saves the day, right? But it was a story about hope. It was a story that was meant to be exciting and wasn't meant to be.
It wasn't full of a ton of drama.
Yeah.
I feel like it was a movie that, and I'll get to my point here, but I feel like it was a movie that I could just put on and watch anytime.
Mm-hmm. It's not hard to watch.
And this will kind of give you an idea of how I feel about superhero movies. I would probably rate it as my favorite superhero movie of all time, and then my second favorite would be Captain America: The First Avenger. And then my third favorite would be Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, the first one.
Okay.
See the theme? There's a constant theme there.
Yeah,
and then
very easy to watch.
And then my fourth one would be Batman with Michael Keaton, and then I'm probably gonna go Batman Begins.
That's a great one.
Just because I like Christian Bale. Yeah. I like that version. But that's where I'm at with. Idea. But those first three, they have the same type of theme. They're very comic.
Yeah.
They feel like comics.
Very meant to be inspiring.
The first Avenger was just like that. It feels like a comic book when you watch it. Mm-hmm. And that Spider-Man movie and we had William Dafoe and you had the Green Goblin, felt like a comic book movie. Felt like a real actual. I mean, it was that's got to be the best Spider-Man movie. I mean, I like the new really I like the new guy, but man, Tobey Maguire was
the third one.
It was good. It was comic book.
Not movie. Everyone likes the third one.
The best scene in the third one is like, that's the Sandman scene. That's the whole.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, that's the he has the black suit and he played that part really well. Acted really well.
I just like symbiote Spider-Man stories. That's just me.
I just like it's the constant comic theme though, and I feel like those movies did not go away from that.
Yeah,
they enhanced it. Mm-hmm. By telling a story, but telling it in a different way, in more of a modern way.
It's kind of sad because nowadays, the superhero genre, because of how popular the MCU has become, is kind of been something that a lot of just popcorn movies or action adventure movies have adopted.
Yeah.
The formula. Yeah. I mean, and you see that with yeah, just like all these movies trying to be like the MCU, they got to have this amount of funny and this amount of action and this amount, get these actors, and or this movie's trying to be like Star Wars, like those kind of things. So it is cool. This for me feels like the first superhero movie in a long time that went back to the roots.
Yeah.
This is a comic book movie. This is a superhero movie in its own genre, not trying to be anything else.
That's why I put it up there with Captain America, just because I felt like in the MCU that was a comic book movie.
It was very good.
The first Avenger. I mean,
it's
the
the
Winter Soldier
out of all of them.
Now, the Winter Soldier was really good. And Civil War, they were both really good movies.
Yeah, but they weren't.
But they were edgy.
That same kind of.
I mean, it was a completely different feel.
Yeah.
And they were great movies, but it's a completely different feel. It's like Batman Begins, a completely different feel
from The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Which The Dark Knight is a great movie, but that's also an example of a movie that's kind of hard to watch because it gets really heavy.
Yeah.
And Superman balanced its tone really, really well. It didn't get too heavy, but it wasn't too light. It wasn't too funny. It wasn't too unfunny.
Yeah, it's one of those films
It's easy to watch.
You can put it on during the day and watch it and just let it play. You don't have to pay attention to it all the way through.
Yeah.
You can, if you've seen it and you just like Superman, you can
just throw it on.
It's a casual film, but it's also, when you watch it for the first time, you get sucked into the story. And I think one of the cool things about it was they really played on the side of Lex Luthor as the villain and as the bad guy, trying to, and he was against Superman. If you go back to the first Superman with Christopher Reeve, there was more of saving people than it was really focusing on a villain. So they've done a really good job in the storytelling, saying that there's a villain and he's out to do something.
And yet we still got to see Superman save people. Which was
so it just felt really good. And I mean, obviously there were times it was kind of quirky, I mean, you had the big monster and you had him saving the dog, or the squirrel or whatever, and so that was different. But I also liked what they did with the whole wormhole thing and the when they went into the.
Oh, that was interesting.
That was just a cool, different feel for a Superman movie.
I didn't expect that at all.
Yeah, it was like a different
feel. At first,
feel.
I was like, I don't like this.
Yeah.
But it won me
over.
But
they played into it really, really well. And so I love it. I'm excited about the DCU. I think it's going to be good.
And definitely for the next 2 super movies.
Yeah.
So
it'll be interesting to see if they do. We know they're doing a Superman 2. It'll be interesting to see if they do a 3, or if they do the Justice League and then they do a 3 later, because there's other characters.
Yeah,
and there's other facets
movie.
To the DCU.
I'd love to.
So again, speed
a lot of Batman.
And how fast are they going to release movies? Is it Marvel kind of got ahead of themselves?
They went too fast.
And I hope they stay away from the. I mean, I know they're doing Peacekeeper and all that
Swamp
stuff.
Thing.
I think some of that's fine, but they need to be careful that they don't blow the budget do less quality because they don't have the money. So they need to keep it. They need to keep it right, because I think that's what Disney messed up the MCU really by doing that.
Yeah, by too fast. 4 movies a year, probably too many.
They just kind of messed it up, and now they're trying to get back, and I don't know if they're going to get back. We're going to see.
Yeah.
We're going to see. So
all right.
Superman.
Any other thoughts on Superman?
Go see the movie.
It was great.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it.
If you haven't seen it, it might still be in theaters.
We didn't spoil enough too much of it, but you need to go see it. It's a good movie, and really I think you'll enjoy it. Hey, it's worth. It would be worth buying. Don't rent it. Just buy it.
Just buy it. It's worth buying.
The movie. Yeah, it's a good movie.
It's great.
Super excited.
Yeah, super excited. I see what you did there.
Yeah, slid that in there.
Right
in there. Super excited.
All right. Hey, well, thanks for joining us. We hope you enjoyed the podcast. If you want to know next episode's topic in advance, or a chance to have your answer featured in our next episode, check out our other voice crack.
That was awesome. I love it.
Check out our other podcast, Lamp Unto My Week.
Lamp Unto My Week.
Lamp Unto My Week. Yeah. What did you think of Superman? Let us know. God bless.